Yo, what's going on everybody? In this video I'm going to be breaking down Phantom's Culvert rotation post the 2-minute patch. I'll be providing buff timers as well as a small explanation behind each of them. But before we get to the actual run, I want to provide some prerequisites. So for Oz rings, we're going to be using a continuous 4 at the start, and then towards the tail end for our final burst we're going to be swapping over to a roar. Now it is optional, but you can use a roar ring if you have it and don't mind using it. For hypers, we're going to use both bullseye shot and concentration, with bullseye being in the main slot, and this is mainly due to us being able to cast Joker twice, which would mean that we'd be swapping our hypers a total of 2 times during the entire run. For cooldown hat, we're going to be using a -4 alongside a level 250 Mercedes Legion block. And then finally, we're going to be discussing our buff sequence. So we have 4 of them here. We have Full, which has Goddess, Heroic Memories, Hyper, AB, Last Resort, and our Oz ring. This is going to be used towards the very end for our final Joker burst. Mini, this has Hyper, AB, Last Resort. This is going to be used during the countdown before the run actually starts, right before our origin for the second one, and then for the very last we're going to be popping it right before our roar, just so we can get the full duration of AB. The third one, we have 2-minute. This just has both Goddess and Heroic Memories. This will be popped twice, once in the prep room and then once before our origin. And then I have a sequence just for Hyper, just so we can bypass the long animation cast time that our Hypers tend to have. Now with that out of the way, let's get to the run itself. Now I did slow down the speed just so it's a little bit easier to follow. But we're going to start with popping both of our 60s, and then around the 40-second mark, that's when we're going to cast our first, or not cast, but proc our first fatal. So let me skip ahead to that. Right here. So we proc fatal. And then at 35 seconds, we're going to cast our first stack of Freuds. There we go. Now we just keep on stacking Arc Link in the meantime. Now, close to around the time our second stack comes up, we're going to pop Bullseye Shot, then our stack 2 Freuds, and then hit the dummy to proc both Cont and Thief Link, and then immediately go in. Like that. Okay. Now right here. So I popped Jenny here, and I'll explain more about this when we get to the stage 4 transition, but we're going to pop Jenny here, and then at the 2-second mark on the countdown, we're going to pop Fatal again, then Rose Cart, pop AB Last Resort after that, Final Cut, and then hold down Melee, just so we can continue stacking Arc Link. So 2 seconds, Fatal, Rose Cart, AB Last Resort, Final Cut, hold down Melee. There we go, stack 5 is still there. So we phase through stage 1. Now when stage 2 comes around, we're going to hold down Ace just so we can have it active. Right there. Stage 3. Now right after stage 3, the moment you see stage 4 pop up right here, we're going to pop our Jenny bubble, then hold down Tempest, and then this is a change that happened in the 2-minute patch, but now you can activate Urtabind during your key downs. So basically what we're trying to do here is get through stage 4 as fast as possible, just so we can immediately Joker burst the moment stage 5 starts. So pop in the bubble, Tempest, Urta, and now we instantly start using Joker. We pop Lamore. You can see Ace is still going. Alright, right at the very end, you can see 2 things are coming up. Stack 3 Freuds, and then right after that is Ace. So that's the order in which we're going to pop our skills next. So Freuds, we throw Ace, and then we immediately then swap over to Concentration. And now you can see we have Rift, Mark, and Tempest up, but Cont is just about to come up in like 1 second, so we're just going to wait for that to come up and then send all 3 of the skills. like so. Now you just continue DPSing like normal. Okay, Tempest comes off CD, and then Ace, stack 4 Freuds. You can see concentrations coming up too, so we'll be popping that off CD as well. Right there. Now, for this second cast for both Rift and Mark, yes, we have continuous right here, but it's not really going to matter in the long run because we're only going to be getting 4 casts of each of these skills throughout the entire like 2-minute duration. So what I'm going to do here is hold off on casting them because I see Last Resort and AB coming up in around like 8 seconds. So I'm just going to wait for them to come up, pop both of those buffs, and then Kant will just naturally come back up around that time. You can see like just an extra like 10 seconds like we'd have to wait for the next cast, and then we'll just get even more damage out of those skills. So we're just going to be DPSing like normal in the meantime. Throw out Ace. We Tempest right here. Last Resort comes up. We pop our mini sequence. You can see the moment we use Rift, our new Kant proc just came up. So we're going to use both Rift and Mark. Throw Ace. Now right here at the 65-second mark, you can see that stack 5 Freuds comes up. Now I'm not going to pop this right here because what this means is that for our final Joker burst, which comes up at around like 6 seconds left on the clock, Freuds is going to just fall off entirely. So we're going to lose a lot of damage on that. So I'm going to hold off on stacking it just for the origin cutscene and stack it right afterward. So with that being on hold, we should be keeping an eye out for our 2-minute sequence. So this has our Goddess and Heroic Memories. So just as like a rule of thumb, just so you don't have to like, you know, be looking at like the timer or like, you know, your hotbar or like anything like that. The moment the timer hits 63 seconds or like ticks down to it, your sequence is going to be up. So you can just click it and then immediately origin afterward, and that's going to line up on Fatal, Thief Link, and Continuous. So let's take a look. Okay, 63, we pop the sequence. It's right there. And then we instantly origin. And then the 3 that I mentioned, Fatal, Thief Link, and Continuous, with all of our buffs ticking. Now right after that, we do stack 5 Freuds, Lemore into Tempest. As soon as Tempest is over, we throw Ace. Close to the 50-second mark, we're going to be popping both Saren and Will. Keep DPSing. We keep an eye on concentration. The moment this goes away, we're going to swap over to Bullseye. Throw Ace, Tempest. You can see Rift and Mark are coming back up here. Now, this cast is going to just be used right off a CD because we only have this cast and one more right after. All right. DPSing like normal. So we want to hold off on this stack 6 as long as we can. So basically, as soon as you see the timer tick down to 30 seconds, we're going to pop our 6 stack. Right there, stack 6. Now, right here is going to come around the time when we're going to start ring swapping. So just as like an indicator to help you know like when you need to actually start swapping is based on your Thief Link cooldown / when it comes up. So basically, we're gonna want to start ring swapping the moment Thief Link procs again, and the reason for this is like you can see right here, it's like maybe 1 or 2 seconds away from coming back up, and I need to be actively hitting a boss or some monster in order for it to get procced again. So if I'm standing here for like 6 seconds just waiting to get out of combat to ring swap, my Thief Link is going to be off sync with my final Joker burst, and then I'm going to lose out on a lot of damage. So what I'm going to do here, I'll keep DPSing like normal, and the moment I see Thief Link come up and start ticking down, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and just start ring swapping immediately. Okay, so we're keeping an eye on that. Right there. It comes up. I stop what I'm doing, and I'm just trying to get out of combat. Now, in the meantime, we're getting close to the 20-second mark, which means that bullseye is going to come up soon. And even though we're waiting here, we can still cast this buff without, like, you know, having to worry about getting back into combat. Okay, so that comes up. We pop it. I'm still waiting. I swap to roar. I throw ace. I hit my mini sequence just to get more uptime off of AB Link. Now we're just DPSing like normal here, and we're waiting for last resort to come up, which we're then going to use our full sequence that has roar in it. Right here, so we do full sequence. Once I see the zone, I'm going to hit roar right there. Now, one of the nice changes with the 2-minute patch is that if you leave the roar zone, it's still going to be there. So there's no more like awkward, like, what's it called? Like, you don't have to like move the boss like to the corner and then set up your burst like on that side of the stage. So basically what we're going to be doing here, as long as you're pretty close to the boss, like relatively like in the middle of him, and you pop your roar, your mark won't send you like in a really weird direction. So right here, we're going to lead with mark. You see it sends me to the left. Now there is like a decent amount of like wind up before mark's damage actually comes out. So as soon as we're able to move again, we're going to shroud walk back into the roar zone as fast as we can. So you see that, right? Right before it starts like going off, we get back in, we immediately rift, then Tempest. By the time Tempest is on CD, Ace comes up, and now we just keep DPSing until Joker comes back, which is in like another second. Alright, right here, Joker comes up, we instantly Lamore alongside it. Now let's take a look here. All of our buffs are ticking. We're on stack 6 Freuds. We have 5 seconds left to roar. Roar is still going. Thief Link is still going, or just came back up. And then around the 3-second mark, Fatal is going to come back up. So let's take a look at that. Right there. There's Fatal. And then the moment we finish, all of our buffs fall off, and that's the end of the run. So definitely this run is going to be a lot more complicated and will take some, you know, time to get used to, but I think like the best way of going about it is just going into Culvert with no buffs and just practicing the rotation until you inevitably like get all the muscle memory down for it. But real quick, I wanted to give a quick shout out to both Miri and Zaki for brainstorming ideas with me when the patch dropped. I don't think I would have been able to finalize like on the rotation without their help and theory crafting, so again, like big shout out to them. But that's pretty much the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way, shape, or form, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.